Imagine the backbone of the internet, the invisible infrastructure that shuttles data, videos, messages, financial transactions, apps, and everything you do online, controlled by a billionaire most people have never heard of. No flashy interviews, no viral tweets, no TikTok moments, no talk show appearances. Just power. Quiet, massive, unseen. Today we're exploring the billionaire who owns the internet's pipes, the cables, networks, and technological arteries that make the digital world function, yet whose name hardly ever appears in mainstream conversation. This story isn't about programming TikTok dances or Silicon Valley drama. It's about the architecture of the digital age, hidden power, and how one person's impact shapes virtually every click you make online, even if you've never heard his name. So let's peel back the veil on this incredible figure, the invisible power player. When most people think internet, they picture big tech companies, Google, Meta, Amazon, TikTok, Microsoft. They think apps, social feeds, search engines, streaming platforms. Rarely do they think infrastructure, and that's exactly where our billionaire's power lies. His name is Patrick Drahi, a French-Israeli billionaire whose empire controls massive swaths of the global telecom and internet infrastructure. But here's the twist. Outside of business circles, telecom insiders, and finance media, few everyday users could tell you who he is. He doesn't chase headlines, he doesn't court celebrity, and he certainly doesn't bombard your social feeds. But he owns the pipes. Why this matters more than you think. Every time you stream a video, scroll your social feed, send an email, or download a game update, your device is tapping into networks owned or controlled by global telecommunications companies. These companies don't just exist in big cities. They stretch across continents, into undersea cables, fiber optic lines, 5G networks, satellites, and virtually every physical conduit of the digital world. And Drahi's network reaches everywhere. This isn't metaphoric power. This is physical, structural control. The internet isn't just wireless clouds and unicorn logos. It's metal, glass, and ground-buried fiber stretching under oceans. And the people who own that infrastructure are the hidden titans of the digital age. From humble beginnings to telecom titan, Patrick Drahi wasn't born into tech royalty. He didn't start with Silicon Valley hype or early stardom. In fact, his journey mirrors something closer to quiet strategic ambition rather than flash or fame. Born and raised in Morocco, he later moved to France for his education in engineering. But instead of joining a prestigious corporation or settling down after school, he embarked on something bold, buying struggling telecom companies and turning them into global powerhouses. He began with smaller stakes, improving operations, consolidating networks, then acquiring bigger assets. Over time, his company, Altice, became one of the largest global telecom and fiber internet operators in the world. And here's the twist most people miss. He didn't build flashy apps or trend-chasing platforms. He built infrastructure, the real skeleton of the internet, the foundation upon which every streaming service, every message, and every online transaction depends. While others focused on consumer-facing brands, Drahi focused deeper on the physical network itself. Owning the pipes behind the scenes. Let's break down exactly what it means to own part of the internet. Fiber optic networks. These are the high-speed lines that connect cities, countries, and continents. They carry data at near-light speeds, hidden beneath streets, plains, and oceans. Telecom providers, the companies that sell you internet access, many are part of larger networks controlled through mergers and acquisitions. Data transport channels, not just local internet service, but the long-haul connections that ensure global connectivity. Drahi's companies control major portions of European and US internet backbones. They own telco assets in France, Portugal, Israel, and the United States. That means when millions of people watch shows, run businesses, or upload videos, a significant portion of that traffic is traveling through systems tied to his holdings. This isn't small potatoes. This is the core plumbing of our digital age, not a name in light-up billboards. So why hasn't his name become a household one? Because Drahi's approach is fundamentally different from most billionaires we celebrate or vilify in the media. For many public figures, visibility is part of the business model. They speak publicly, they crave attention, they release books, attend events, appear on shows, and leverage fame as currency. Drahi? He's the opposite. He rarely gives interviews. He avoids public fanfare. He's not on social media. When major tech shakeups occur, analysts discuss the implications, not his tweets, quotes, or public persona. This anonymity isn't accidental. It's structural. By staying out of headlines, he avoids scrutiny and leverages operational control. And that's exactly why his influence is both massive and mostly invisible to you. How he built an empire. Let's rewind a bit. How did he go from relative anonymity to owning parts of the internet most of the world depends on? It happened through strategic acquisitions and relentless expansion. Instead of anchoring his empire on a single product, he focused on acquiring pieces of infrastructure that others undervalued, bought struggling telcos at advantageous prices, consolidated networks to improve efficiency, expanded into major markets like Europe and the US, focused on long-term revenue over short-term publicity. He wasn't chasing likes. He was building capital, connectivity, and structural power. Telecom and internet infrastructure is notoriously capital-intensive. It requires long-term vision because it takes years to lay cable, upgrade networks, and expand fiber lines. This isn't the kind of business fueled by quarterly earnings calls or viral product launches. It's slow, deliberate, and profoundly impactful. What this means for you? You might be thinking, okay, interesting. But does this actually affect me? The short answer, yes, more than you know. When a few companies control the networks that carry most of the world's data, several real implications emerge. 1. Influence over connectivity. Control over infrastructure means negotiating power with governments, content providers, and tech platforms. The cost and availability of internet access, especially in developing regions, can be shaped by these decisions. 2. Impact on pricing. Infrastructure ownership plays a big role in pricing schemes. When fewer entities control the backbone, competition becomes limited, and that can influence consumer pricing more than we realize. 3. Global reach. When your infrastructure crosses borders, it impacts international networks, digital trade, and even how information flows during global events. This means something far more significant than simply owning a company. It means controlling how data flows across the world. A hidden power dynamic. Think about the internet, not as a cloud, but as a physical system. Undersea cables, fiber lines stretching across continents, switching centers, nodes, infrastructure that's vulnerable to disruption, geopolitics, and investment decisions. In that context, people like Patrick Drahi aren't just billionaire owners, they are architects of connectivity, and yet, we rarely know their names. Now think about this. What if the most powerful people in the digital age aren't social media influencers, tech CEOs, or AI moguls? What if the true power lies in the ones who own the infrastructure beneath everything else? In a world obsessed with visibility, this is the invisible throne, a philosophy of quiet power. When you strip away the noise, there's a philosophical shift here. Real influence doesn't need a public face. Real power doesn't need applause. And structural impact doesn't need a spotlight. Most billionaires become famous because they engage with the public through products, media, controversy, or personality. But owning the internet's pipes? That's a different league. This is influence that operates below the surface. It's the difference between owning a stage and controlling the venue itself. And it forces a question most of us don't think to ask. Does the person with the loudest voice really hold the most power? Or is power often held by those who never speak at all? The legacy of the invisible billionaire. So what does the future hold? As data demand continues to skyrocket, thanks to streaming, AI, cloud computing, remote work, autonomous systems, virtual reality, and more, the value of infrastructure will only grow. And the people who own that infrastructure will matter more than ever. Patrick Drahi's story reminds us that the internet isn't just apps and platforms, it's networks. Physical, strategic, and indispensably tied to global connectivity. He didn't build something flashy, he built something foundational. The digital world we use every day, the one you scroll, stream, swipe, and search, isn't just a cloud in the sky. It's lines, cables, towers, and systems that someone has to build, maintain, and own. And sometimes the people who own them don't want your attention. They want something else. Long-term impact. The big takeaway. If you've learned one thing today, let it be this. Power doesn't always wear a spotlight. Influence doesn't always seek attention. And the most important structures in our world are often hidden in plain sight. The billionaire who owns the internet's pipes may never trend on social media. He may never give a press interview. He may never be a household name. But in every email sent, movie streamed, message delivered, and app used, his unseen influence still flows through the digital veins of the world. And that makes him one of the most powerful figures of the 21st century, even if no one knows his name. If you want more deep dives into the unseen power players shaping our world, people and systems you interact with every day without realizing, it's time to hit like, subscribe, and stick around. Because the world is full of hidden giants, and their stories are far more fascinating than you might expect.